Hi there. We are day 259 of our Through the Bible in 1 Year. It's September 15th. And today we're going to start Daniel chapters 7, 8, and 9. And chapters 7 through 12 actually goes in line with Revelations. These are visions he had before anybody else had it, okay? And so it's interesting that he saw it first. So we're going to read through this. There is a very in-depth study I did of this just about a year ago, and you can find that on the Through the Bible playlist down there. If you look up Revelations, it was a precursor to Revelations to better understand it. And I spent more than a month going through Revelation. So, and this was part of it. So let's begin. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, now he succeeded Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel had a dream with visions in his mind. As he was lying in his bed, he wrote down the dream, and here's the summary of his account. Summary, beginning. Daniel said, "In my vision at night I was watching, and suddenly the four winds of heaven stirred up the great sea. Four huge beasts came from the sea, each different from the other. The first was like a lion, but it had eagle's wings. I continued watching until its wings were torn off. It was lifted up from the ground, set on its feet like a man, and given a human mind." Wow. Suddenly another beast appeared, a second one that looked like a bear. It was raised up on one side, with 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. It was told, "Get up, gorge yourself on flesh." While I was watching, another beast appeared. It was like a leopard, with 4 wings of a bird on its back. It had 4 heads and was given authority to rule. Now this is all future stuff, right? While I was watching the night visions, a 4th beast appeared, frightening and dreadful and incredibly strong, with large iron teeth that devoured and crushed and trampled with its feet whatever was left. It was different from all the beasts before it, and it had 10 horns. While I was considering the horns, studying them, suddenly another horn, a little one, came up among them, and the 3 horns of the first were uprooted before it. There were eyes on this horn like a man's, and it had a mouth that spoke arrogantly. Ancient Days and the Son of Man. As I kept watching, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was white like snow. On the hair of his head was like whitest wool. His throne was flaming fire. Its wheels were blazing fire. A river of fire was flowing, coming out from his presence. Thousands upon thousands served him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was convened, and the books were opened. Sound like Revelations? I watched then, because the sound of the arrogant words the horn was speaking. As I continued watching, the beast was killed, and its body destroyed and given over to the burning fire. As for the rest of the beasts, their authority to rule was removed, but an extension of life was granted to them for a certain period of time. I continued watching the night visions. And I saw one, like a son of man. That's Jesus, right? Coming with the clouds of heaven, he approached the Ancient of Days and was escorted before him. He was given authority to rule and glory and a kingdom, so that those of every people, nation, and language should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will not be destroyed. Right? So the Ancient of Days would be the devil, right? And Jesus comes along. Sounds like Revelations, right? Interpretation of the vision. As for me, my spirit was deeply distressed within me, and the visions in my mind terrified me. I approached one of those who were standing by and asked him the true meaning of all this. So he let me know the interpretation of these things. Are you ready? These huge beasts, 4 in number, are 4 kings who will rise from the earth. But the holy ones of the Most High will receive the kingdom and possess it forever. Yes, forever and ever. Then I wanted to know the true meaning of the 4th beast, the one different from all the others, extremely terrifying, with iron teeth and bronze claws, devouring, crushing, and trampling with its feet whatever was left. I also wanted to know about the 10 horns on its head, and about the other horn that came up, before which 3 fell. The horn had eyes and a mouth that spoke arrogantly, and that was more visible than the others. As I was watching, this horn waged war against the holy ones and was prevailing over them, until the Ancient of Days arrived, and a judgment was given in favor of the holy ones of the Most High, for the time had come, and the holy ones took possession of the kingdom. This is what he said. The 4th beast will be the 4th kingdom on the earth, different from all the other kingdoms that will devour the whole earth, trample it down, and crush it. The 10 horns are the 10 kings who will rise from this kingdom. Another, different from the previous ones, will rise after them and subdue 3 kings. He will speak words against the Most High and oppress the holy ones of the Most High. He will intend to change religious festivals and laws, and the holy ones will be handed over to him for a times and a half a time. 3.5 years. Sound like the tribulation? Huh? All right. That's the first half of the tribulation. But the court will convene, and his dominion will be taken away, to be completely destroyed forever. The kingdom, dominion, and the greatness of the kingdoms under all of heaven will be given to the people of the holy ones of the Most High. That's Jesus. His kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom, and all rulers will serve and obey him. This is the end of the interpretation. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts terrified me greatly, and my face turned pale. But I kept the matter to myself. Okay, that's chapter 7. That's like a first half of the tribulation, huh? Okay, chapter 8, the vision of the ram and the goat. In the 3rd year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, a vision appeared to me. Daniel, after the one that appeared to me earlier, I saw a vision as I watched. I was in the fortress of the city of Susa, in the province of Elam. I saw in the vision that I was beside the Ulal canal. I looked up, and there was a ram standing beside the canal. He had 2 horns. The 2 horns were long, but one was longer than the other, and the longer one came up last. I saw the ram charging to the west, the north, and the south. No animal could stand against him, and there was no rescue from his power. He did whatever he wanted and became great. As I was observing, a male goat appeared, coming from the west across the surface of the entire earth without touching the ground. The goat had a conspicuous horn, it's a horn of a vision, between his eyes. He came toward the 2-horned ram I had seen standing beside the canal and rushed at him with savage fury. I saw him approaching the ram and infuriated with him. He struck the ram, shattering his 2 horns, and the ram was not strong enough to stand against him. The goat threw him to the ground and trampled him, and there was no one to rescue the ram from his power. Then the male goat became very great, and when he became powerful, the large horn was shattered. 4 conspicuous horns came up in its place, pointing toward the 4 winds of heaven. The little horn. Again with the horns, right. From one of them, a little horn emerged and grew extensively towards the south and east and toward the beautiful land. It grew as high as the heavenly host. Wow, that's a big horn. Made some of the stars and some of the hosts fall to the earth and trampled them. It made itself great, even up to the prince of the host. It removed his daily sacrifice and overthrew the place of his sanctuary. Because of rebellion, a host together with the daily sacrifice will be given over. The horn will throw truth to the ground, and it will be successful in whatever it does. I heard the Holy One speaking, and another Holy One said to the speaker, "How long will the events of this vision last? The daily sacrifice, the rebellion that makes desolate, and the giving over of a sanctuary and of the host and be trampled." He said to me, "For 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary will be restored." 2,300. Now let's real quick. 2,300 divided by 365. No, that's not right. I did that wrong. Okay. 20 divided by 365. 6.3 years. 6.3 years. Might be in the other Bibles, this 70 sevens and 10 sevens or something like that. Interpretation of the vision. Are you ready? While I, Daniel, was watching the vision, trying to understand it, there stood before me someone who appeared to be a man. I heard a human voice calling from the middle of the Ulai. "Gabriel, explain the vision to this man." Gabriel? We know who Gabriel is, right? So he approached where I was standing. When he came near, I was terrified and fell face down. "Son of man," he said to me, "understand that the vision refers to the time of the end." Oh, you got that? This is the time of the end, which hasn't happened yet. This is Revelations, okay? While he was speaking to me, I fell into a deep sleep with my face on the ground. Then he touched me and made me stand up. and said, I'm here to tell you what will happen at the conclusion of the time of wrath, because it refers to the appointed time of the end, right? The two-horned ram you saw represents the kings of Media and Persia. The shaggy goat represents the king of Greece, and a large horn between his eyes represents the first king. The 4 horns that took place of the shattered horn represent 4 kingdoms. They will rise from that nation, but without its power. Okay. Near the end of their kingdoms, when the rebels have reached the full measure of their sin, an insolent king skilled in intrigue will come to the throne. His power will be great, but it will not be his own. Antichrist, maybe, right? He will cause terrible destruction and succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy the powerful along with the holy people. He will cause deceit to prosper through his cunning and by his influence, and in his own mind he will make himself great. He will destroy many in a time of peace. He will even stand against the prince of princes. Yet he will be shattered, not by human hands. The vision of the evenings and the mornings that has been told is true. You must seal up the vision because it refers to many days in the future, okay? He said, seal this vision up. It was for Daniel to know and nobody else except us right now, right? I, Daniel, was overcome and lay sick for days. Then I got up and went about the king's business. I was greatly disturbed by the vision and could not understand it. Daniel's prayer, chapter 9. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahushi, with that person, and a Mede by birth, was a ruler over the kingdom of the Chaldeans. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood from the books according to the word of the Lord to Jeremiah the prophet, that the number of years for the desolation of Jerusalem would be 70. And this is, remember, they're still in exile. Right? So I turned my attention to the Lord to seek him in prayer and petitions with fasting, sackcloth, and ashes. I prayed to the Lord and the Lord my God and confessed, Lord, the great and awe-inspiring God who keeps his gracious covenant with those who love him and keep his commands. We have sinned, done wrong, acted wickedly, rebelled, and turned away from your commands and ordinances. We have not listened to your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name to our kings, leaders, fathers, and all the people of the land. Lord, righteousness belongs to you, but this day public shame belongs to us, the men of Judah, the residents of Jerusalem, and all Israel, those who are near and those who are far, in all countries, where you have dispersed them because of the disloyalty they have shown towards you. Lord, public shame belongs to us, our kings, our leaders, and our fathers, because we have sinned against you. Compassion and forgiveness belong to the Lord our God, though we have rebelled against him and have not obeyed the voice of the Lord our God by following his instructions that he set before us through his servants, the prophets. All Israel has broken your law and turned away, refusing to obey you. The promised curse written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, has been poured out on us because we have sinned against him. He has carried out his words that he spoke against us and against our rulers by bringing us on us so great a disaster that nothing like what has been done in Jerusalem has ever been done under all of heaven. Just as it is written in the law of Moses, all this disaster has come upon us, yet we have not appeased to the Lord our God by turning from our iniquities and paying attention to your truth. So the Lord kept the disaster in mind and brought it on us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all he has done, but we have not obeyed him. Now, Lord our God, who brought your people out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand and made your name renowned as it is this day, we have sinned and have acted wickedly. Lord, in keeping with all your righteous acts, may your anger and wrath turn away from your city, Jerusalem, your holy mountain. For because of our sins and the iniquities of our fathers, Jerusalem and your people have become an object of ridicule to all those around us. Therefore, our God, hear the prayer and the petitions of your servant. Show your favor to our desolate sanctuary for the Lord's sake. Listen, my God, and hear. Open your eyes and see our desolations in the city called by your name. For we are not presenting our petitions before you based on our righteous act, but based on your abundant compassion. Lord, hear. Lord, forgive. Lord, listen and act. My God, for your own sake, do not delay, because your city and your people are called by your name. Wow, that's quite a prayer, huh? Okay, the 70 weeks of years. Now, in the other Bible study on this in Revelation last year, we went into this in great detail, but this is read through the Bible in a year, so we're just reading through it. Okay? While I was speaking, praying, confessing my sin and the sin of the people of Israel, and presenting my petition before Yahweh my God concerning the holy mountain of my God, while I was praying, Gabriel, the man I had seen in the first vision, came to me in my extreme weariness, about the time of the evening offering. He gave me this explanation: Daniel, I've come now to give you understanding. At the beginning of your petitions, an answer went out, and I have come to give it, for you are treasured by God. So consider the message of understand the vision. Treasured by God. Wow. 70 weeks. There's a note here. 490 years. Okay. Are decreed about your people and your holy city to bring the rebellion to an end, to put a stop to sin and to wipe away iniquity, to bring an everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. No one understand this. From the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until Messiah, the Prince, it will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. 49 years and 434 years. It will be rebuilt with a plaza and a moat, but in difficult times, after those 62 weeks, the Messiah will be cut off and will have nothing. The people of the coming prince will destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end will come with a flood, and until the end there will be war. Desolations are decreed. He will make a firm covenant with many for 1 week, or for 7 years. But in the middle of the week, he will put a stop to sacrifice and offering, and the abomination of desolation will be among the wing of the temple. Now that's a whole... And the desolator will bring on the wing of abominations, and he, the desolator, will come in the wings of monster of horror. Right? The abomination and desolation that's spoke of in different parts of the Bible will be on a wing of the temple until the decreed destruction is poured out on the desolator. Okay. This 1 week right here, 7 years. That's the tribulation. Okay. He will put a stop to, in the middle of the 7 years, he will put a stop to sacrifice and offering. Mm-hmm. So, wow, huh? That's just like, wow. It's like we're reading Revelations, end times that are coming very, very soon. Okay? And tomorrow we'll do 10 and 12. More of the same thing. Vision of the glorious one, angelic conflict, prophecies about Persia and Greece, king of the south and the north. Yeah, these are whole other stories, but we'll get to that tomorrow. So, there you go. That's today's... The camera there. That's today's 259. It's like, these are the future. And he said this will not happen for 490 years, okay? It was about that time that Jesus came along, all right? And he was killed. And he rose again. So, well, like I said, I did a lot of in-depth study on this about a year ago. And it's worth watching if you want to look it up. On YouTube, there's a playlist called Through the Bible, and it was about, you go to about last year, this time, you will see where it starts. It starts with the Daniel studies and does chapter 24, and then goes into a very in-depth study of Revelations. So, but it's pretty exciting to know this stuff is coming to an end very soon. So it's like we're reading current events here. So that's cool. Catch up on anything I missed. You want to say you got the whole Bible in a year? Especially this part, right? And we'll keep doing this. So until tomorrow, we'll keep going. See you then.